Hi, this is attorney David Gibbs with the National Center for Life and Liberty. As we are privileged to work with thousands of churches across the United States and many schools and ministries across the nation, we're often asked this question: what do we do if we have symptoms or a confirmed diagnosis of COVID-19 within our ministry? While there's no hard and fast rules, there are some general principles that ministries need to be aware of. Number one, you need to be asking, who is it that we believe has contracted the virus? If it is a key staff person, pastoral leader, or someone in contact with a number of people, immediately get them tested. And you do have the ability to require this to be done as an employer or as a ministry for the safety of all involved. Then number two, you want to let the church know or others that might have come in contact with this person that we believe that there's a high probability or even a diagnosis so they can take appropriate action. Then you also want to let the church know to give them confidence that you are taking steps to mitigate this risk. That could be the additional cleaning. That could be the staff member or the pastor being quarantined. That could be monitoring themselves for symptoms that they themselves may be contracting COVID-19. Some key symptoms to be watching for: fever. That is probably the easiest one to monitor, but also some odd ones such as a dry cough or maybe the loss of taste or smell. If someone starts to be feeling flu-like after they've been around someone that has COVID or believes they have COVID, very important that they get themselves tested as well. So as you're looking at the church, obviously that's a key leader or someone that you have more control over. Now, what about a member or somebody that just comes into the congregation? Well, obviously you can't require them to do things, but you can certainly evaluate what level of contact they had within the ministry. You can encourage them to consider to be tested and even ask them for permission to pray for them or to share their name. But please remember, they have private rights with regard to their personal health information, so never disseminate someone's name without their permission. That could subject you to some potential liability. Again, you are welcome to let the church know if you believe that's in your best interest, that someone that attended may have had COVID, and again, give them the assurance that you are cleaning the building, that you're working through issues. If they are concerned, please stay home if they have symptoms, and to self-monitor. So churches have a lot of options as they evaluate this, but a lot of this is done to mitigate risk, but also to be kind. We don't want to become super spreaders or allow the unnecessary spread within our congregations, if at all avoidable. So that's dealing with the church. Now, when you're dealing with the school, you have many of the similar issues. If you're dealing with, for example, a teacher or a principal or someone that's in contact, once again, require them to be tested. Be sure that the student body is notified. We have sample letters at the NCLL that you're welcome to use as a form to make sure that your parents and others are aware of what has occurred within the school. And then when dealing with students, once again, you can evaluate, do I have permission to share this information? But if not, what are appropriate steps with regard to quarantine, cleaning, or other issues? So very important that every case of COVID or prospective COVID be treated very, very seriously. Now, there's some general guidelines that we recommend in all of these, and we certainly would encourage you to understand what your local health department is requiring or requesting. Doesn't mean you're absolutely obligated to do it, but as good community citizens, it's very wise as a church or a ministry to be aware of what's being done in your jurisdiction. I've said it before, but let me remind again, be mindful of the HIPAA, which is the privacy protections that everyone has with regard to their health information. If you don't have permission, don't share names, don't share confidential medical information. That can subject you to risk. And be very careful with your online, Facebook postings or other things. You do not want someone to be upset with you for disseminating their private information against their wishes and without their permission. I always encourage people to be gracious in handling all communications. We don't want to be fearmongers. We want to be cautious. We want to give confidence. We want people to know that we're doing everything within our power reasonably to keep our ministries safe and healthy. And again, this is a spirit issue, but we want to project a spirit of diligence, that we are working diligently for the health of everyone in our ministry, not a spirit of fear. The church is the hope of America, and COVID never catches God by surprise. But when it strikes in a ministry or a school, it's important that we handle it wisely and cautiously.